Welcome everyone to my health, fitness and wellness blog. I shouldn't say that. It's really a blog about my journey of getting my body into shape for October, where I'm about to compete at the age of 53 on stage in Miss Fitness Gold Coast. And also I compete natural fitness competition in Brisbane in October as well. And so what I thought would be fun is to actually share this journey with those of you that are maybe curious and interested to know, what does it take to get up on stage at that age, and what would that journey look like? And so my intention is to sort of share the good, the bad and the ugly with you, so you can maybe learn a little bit from me in regarding to how I push through the fearful moments, and how I get disciplined around food and exercise, and how I'm able to turn my mindset around when maybe I'm feeling a bit negative. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Dana Eden, and I am a personal trainer, and I have been for the last 30 years or so. And I currently show women over the age of 40 how to slow down the aging process. And about 4 years ago, I decided that I really was curious about how those women that competed up on stage were able to get their body fat at such a low level. What did it take? And what was the food like? What was the nutrition like? What was the exercise like? So long story short, I did a competition 4 years ago, and I came away from that preparation journey a completely different woman. I walked in thinking I was about to learn about losing weight and getting my body in shape at a different level. But what I came away with was a completely different mindset. I learned how to be disciplined to another level. I learned how to overcome fear of putting on a tiny red sequin bikini and wearing stilettos at the age of 49 back then. And I learned how to become very focused and strong, and a attitude that I had never really found in myself before. And I loved it. It was amazing how much it strengthened me as a woman, and moving forward in a more positive way. So here I am 4 years later, and I thought, you know what, I really want a challenge. And this is a challenge for me. And I'm excited to get back up on stage in October. And my intention is for you girls that choose to watch my journey to maybe pick up some tips, tricks, and strategies as to how I handle different situations along the way, and maybe be able to help you also. So my first step was to engage a coach for myself, and I engaged a lady by the name of Sarah O'Connor, and Sarah was my coach 4 years ago. She has won multiple competitions in America, Australia, and she's an incredible coach, and I felt quite lucky to have her by my side. So I went with Sarah, and the first step was, Dana, do your weigh in, do your measurements, and take photos in your underwear. So we've got some before photos. So I did all that. And it was interesting straight away that I was a little bit putting off the photos. So that was like my first learning curve of what's going on, like, and to tell you the truth, I was a little bit shy to put myself in my underwear of how my body looks these days. So I'm not a 21-year-old. I am 53. I am postmenopausal, and I'm fit and I'm healthy and I'm strong, but I'm certainly not in competition state. And so I did do my photos, and it was my first aha moment of, you're not feeling 100% great about yourself. So anyway, did my weigh-in, did my measurements, did my photos, sent them to Sarah, and she came back with an eating plan for me, nutritionally designed personally around my dietary guidelines. And so for me personally, I'm basically gluten-free, and that's really my only, I don't eat tomato. I hate tomato. So anyway, but so she's created a program for me, and she gave me two options. So option one and option two. And option one is a whole day eating plan, and option two is another whole day eating plan. And I can choose whichever option I want on a daily basis. I was then given an exercise program, and the exercise program gave me a full week program, and it involved my resistance training, my weight training, and it also included my cardio, and it had everything there for me, once again individually designed around my needs and wants. So for me personally, I actually do have a lower back issue, and also I have glutes bottom that really doesn't like to play the game. So my glutes, I say, don't fire, which basically means when I do exercises around my bottom, they don't seem to be the muscle that's kicking in doing any of the work. And so Sarah was able to design a program, hopefully to get them reignited, firing, and working in the right direction. So we got all that started, and I started actually 2 weeks ago. So the first 2 weeks, what I've done well is I'm Little Miss Preparation Queen. So I made the shopping list. And what I decided was my learning lesson from working with women over the age of 40 is to be organized is super important, but also not to overwhelm yourself at first. So, step into the program a little bit slowly rather than jump in both feet together and then be overwhelmed and jump out. So for me, that meant let's stay with one option. So Sarah had given me breakfast, mid-morning, lunch, mid-afternoon, and dinner, and option one, option two. So I said, okay, I'm just going to stick with option one. So basically for 2 weeks, girls, I ate the same breakfast, mid-morning, lunch, afternoon, and dinner. So I felt that I did the preparation well. I made the list, I got the food in, and I got organized with prep. So prep for me meant getting my breakfast organized, putting my oatmeal, weighing it out. So all your food is actually weighed, and having that in individual little bags. So it was all done for me, making sure I had the right vegetables in, making sure I had the right nuts and seeds and all that good stuff. So I got organized, and I felt like I was going well for the first few days. And I'm thinking to myself, I've got this. And then my husband, Rob, came home with kettle chips. And I don't know if anybody else here loves kettle chips. Well, I'm a little bit of a kettle chip tragic. And he made us a cool drink. It was mid-afternoon, when all the reasoning goes out the window. And I sat down with him, and my head said, don't touch the kettle chips, Dana. Once you start, you won't stop. Well, that went out the window because my hands were like a seagull to a hot chip. And I started the one, the two. Anyway, 30 minutes later, I'd eaten half a packet of kettle chips. And here we were only day 3, and I'm like, OMG, I'm not as good as I thought I was going to be. And I must admit, the thoughts, which is my next learning curve, was a little bit negative. It was like, oh God, you're hopeless. You're already failed. And it's only day 3. Oh no, you've eaten too many calories. You're never going to get up on stage if you continue to be like this. So all this stuff was going through my head, and it was good because I've got so much practice around working with women over the age of 40 losing weight. I was able to pull myself up fairly quickly and go, hang 10, be kind to yourself, look at the big picture, get back on track. Judgment's not going to help the outcome here, and go for a big walk. And so that's what I did, because for me personally, going for a walk just resets my mind, get out in nature. I was able to feel better about myself, accept what I'd done, get back on track and rock and roll. So I feel like I've done pretty well for the rest of the time. I did have to go and visit my mum in the latter part of the second week. And I did find that I prepared well. Like I thought about, okay, I'm going to mum's. I need to organize food. I boiled some eggs. I made sure I had protein powder with me. I made sure I'd brought some protein into mum's house, like yogurts and cheese and milk and things like that. So I was pretty good with maintaining my protein intake, but I must admit I wasn't great with eating enough, really, eating enough carbohydrate and eating enough good fats. So I probably came away from mum's not eating enough calories to sustain my lean muscle mass. And that probably wasn't fantastic, but it was what it was. And I was quite accepting of that, knowing I was going to her house for 3 days and knowing that it is a difficult situation to manage when you're on a new eating plan. So I was in a little bit of acceptance there. In regard to exercise, Sarah did do me a program, and day one, I was a bit like, oh my goodness, it went for over an hour. It was a leg workout, and I was a little bit in deep shock as far as I'd been doing workouts for 45 minutes or so, and it was just that extra 20 minutes, and it really made me feel like I'd really trained that much harder. The good news was my legs were sore after day one. So I was like, yes, my legs are sore. So this means I was doing something right. And I also, it made me refocus. I don't know if anybody else loves a project, but I'm a project queen. And so what it did for me is it made me focus, and it's like a new project. I'm motivated back in the gym. I'm excited. I feel like I'm on the road again to creating good things, and not just another day, another workout, another day, another workout. So that's been really fantastic for me to feel that again, that little bit of excitement and motivation. So what I've hoping to improve on in this next week, if I look at my nutrition, is I get one meal off a week where I can basically do what I want. And after my workouts of a morning, I often go to this coffee shop, and they have these most beautiful, beautiful, beautiful cakes. Now, I was brought up by an English mum, and I love a nice cake. We had morning tea, afternoon tea, dessert growing up. And so cake and me, we're like, really clicked together. And so what I decided is what I'd like to do this week is be compliant to my food really as much as I possibly can, and then allow myself to have one of those big cakes on Saturday, which is going to be my day off. So that's my plan for this week. And we are only at Wednesday, but so far so good. I've been able to achieve that. So I've done good things with my food this week. I haven't gone off with kettle chips. And so all is good in the world of nutrition. In regard to exercise, what I would like to achieve this week is I've got my lower back has become irritable, and to the point that a couple of days it locked. But I feel like I'm getting movement back in there. But my plan this week is to find out a diagnosis of what is actually wrong with my back. So I've had lower back pain since my 20s, since my first pregnancy, basically. And I'm not sure. I don't know if I've got bulging disc, whether I've got arthritis. I really don't know. So my goal in regard to exercise is get my injury looked at and dealt with. So taking a step forward in dealing with that, because I understand, like, it's all very well to feel victim, poor me, bad lower back. I can't do this. But I feel like when I'm not taking that step to making a change, nothing changes. So I'm keen to take the step to create change. And so that's on my to-do list. And I have an appointment in already next Monday, so that's good. And my other part in regard to exercise is really concentrating on when I do my movements to to engage the muscle. So I'll often, because I've been going to the gym for 20 something years, I'll often do the movement, but it's just, I've done it for so many years. Now I'm wanting to control, slow it down, engage the muscle, bring the awareness to the muscle and make sure I'm contracting it, making sure that on my eccentric phase, my lowering phase, that it's controlled, I'm not dropping it, and just really tidying up, I guess, polishing my technique and engaging the right muscles and not just going through the motion. So that's my goal for this week. And that's where I'll see how I go. So girls, that's all I wanted to share with you. My mental state at this point is motivated, it's excited, it's at this point, because I've still got 14 weeks to go. So the any teeny weeny bikini idea hasn't come into play yet. So I'm sort of just establishing good habits and I feel like I'm going okay. So that is me for this week. What have I learnt so far is the one thing I've probably learnt is my mindset is still, I am still quite judgmental of myself and I'm noticing that. So I'm curious around that. And I am just sitting being curious with that at the moment. Like I'm hard on myself. Would I call myself a perfectionist? I wouldn't call myself a perfectionist, but I definitely am the type of girl that is very hard on herself. If you don't do it well, don't do it at all type personality. So I'm practicing being a little bit aware of that and just being curious rather than reacting or judging. So I guess that's my learning lesson this week, is I've still got a bit to work on mentally, as I'm sure we all do. So girls, I hope you enjoyed my little blog. Are they called vlogs? I don't know. If you would like to join me on Women's 40 Plus Online Health Club on Facebook, it is a free group. We do exercise, we do nutrition, and we do education, and there's motivation and a giggle or two along the way. So you're welcome to join me there. Otherwise, I'll catch you next week for episode 2 of my journey from start to stage in October. Well, thanks for joining me today and take care. Bye for now.